Welcome to the Three Amigos podcast. On today's episode, we talk JA Morant scandal. We talk the bitter rivalry heating back up between the Suns and the Mavs. Is there trouble in the East? Are the Celtics off? Are they on? Who knows? We cover the NHL. We cover John Jones. Is he the greatest of all time? Is he the GOAT of UFC? And then we talk about the most beloved topic, our NFL. All the quarterback signings, all of the franchise tags. Is the combine worth the hype? If you get hype from the combine, does your draft stock go up? Find out more when you listen to this episode and enjoy.
Welcome back, boys and girls, to another edition of the Three Amibros podcast. Now, I regret to inform you that we do not have McJam, which is really sad for this episode, but fantastic for Alex's self-esteem.
Probably.
He's not going to be here to correct all of his Alexisms, and Alex can close the show feeling really good. Yeah. And so I think we should start the show by making him feel really bad and discuss the NBA. And how do we not start with the soap opera that is JA Morant?
Oh, God.
I don't even know if you would call it a soap opera. It's more of like a drama.
Oh, it's even that more intense.
It's just like
soap opera is more intense than a drama. Soap opera goes intense, and they're like there off the wall thing. So I would consider it a soap opera because his whole life shifted in a matter of 48 hours.
It just seems like he doesn't know what being a human means today in today's world. I don't know. When you like look at it, it's like he's almost like with the Russell Wilson thing. Is he just playing an act? Like what he's supposed to be as a basketball player? Like you're supposed to be this like thug who like blah, 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 does whatever he wants to do. Like, is that what you're supposed to do? But
no, because that's not really an NBA player.
Yeah, that's not even what they are. But is that like
he's trying to play this double life where he's an NBA superstar and also, you know, wants to be toting around guns and acting like he's fucking
16,
like gangbanging. Yeah.
It almost
like it doesn't make any sense.
I would
Memphis has rubbed off on him.
Oh, Memphis is wild, bro. I would expect this from like 6ix9ine, not from fucking JA Morant.
Well, especially for like he's just such a talented player. And then at that point, why are you putting yourself in a position to act a fool? That's your fault. You're dumb.
Yeah, could you imagine being guaranteed the amount of money that his contract and just NBA contracts in general give you, and you get to play a game, and all you have to do is not draw bad publicity on or off the court? It's pretty fucking easy.
I mean, even if you draw
he can't stop.
Even if you draw bad publicity on the court, it kind of is like works in your favor sometimes. Like if you like
on the court,
I'm not talking about off the court. I'm talking about on the court. Like if you even draw some like bad, but like and then didn't Steven Adams like have a talk to them a few days before?
Yeah, it sounded like it happened before this happened.
Let's recap JA Morant in his last 2 weeks. So we talked about on the last episode that he's I don't know, he's been investigated or something. He about punched a 17-year-old in the face 11 times, some shit like that. Now he brings a gun into a nightclub after beating Denver, playing in Denver, when he got suspended after that.
Actually, I don't think they beat Denver that night.
Okay, so they just lost and he's at a nightclub.
Maybe that's why he has a gun. He's pissed.
And now because of that, he's not being investigated obviously by Colorado police, which has put him in a position to where like I think Memphis, the team, has like told him like indefinitely.
Well, has it NBA? Wasn't the NBA or was it Memphis?
I think
it was Memphis.
Oh, okay. Memphis indefinitely suspended him until they figure out what's going on.
They did that so the NBA didn't have to.
Oh,
yeah. And you did say that. So Steven Adams, we saw it all through social media. Like days prior, they just needed to be more disciplined, like being out when they're traveling and doing things because they're going out and doing nightclubs and being crazy. And then literally 2 days later, he does this. So one, it kind of makes you like, I feel like self-review on JA Morant, like who he is as a person more than he is. He's a great athlete. But how is this leader going to tell you that? And then 2 days later, you're going to do that shit. And then this happens to you.
And then did he did he grow up like this, or was this like a? No, this isn't like a like
He's not
this is what
from
this is what my society. This is like how I grew up. I grew up hard. I grew up maybe lower class. I grew up maybe in the ghetto. Like
like
that's
DeJounte
not.
Murray.
Yeah, like that.
Like a ton of different
Like a lot
professional
of. I
athletes
mean, you
who
even go
don't do
LeBron
anything
James.
close to this shit.
Yeah, like that's and he grew up in a above average income household, like both parents at the house.
I believe so, yeah.
Damn,
I'm not
what is
sure
he
about all
doing,
that.
bro? I don't know, like
But
what the, but like this fact that you would
But
just not
let me put
expect
it
that
this way. He definitely did not come from, the life
hardship.
where he wasn't raised in an area or a situation where, most boys in your neighborhood are choosing the life on the street, as opposed to anything else. Like he didn't come from that type of a background. And I'd feel a little more understandable if he did, but like that wasn't his situation from what I can understand and see. And so it's just like, why are you doing this? And it's so funny. I don't know if you guys have seen the statements from the team and whatnot, but basically he's stepping away to work on dealing with stress and like working on his mental health. And it's just like, stress did this to you. The stress of making millions and millions of dollars to play a game was so stressful that you just started pulling guns on people, and that makes no fucking sense.
Question: did he get
No
his
fucking
contract yet?
What do you mean?
Like, has he gotten his like post rookie
He's
contract?
I believe he has been extended, but I don't think he's on a max deal.
Okay.
Perfect moment for McJam. This is the first time we're really feeling his
Yeah,
loss on
really
this
feeling the
episode.
loss on this one. But
I know.
all I'm thinking of
First of
is
many.
all I'm thinking of is like, okay, you're the face of your franchise. You're arguably one of the faces of the NBA right now. What would drive you to a point like, is this just he made such a splash too fast, and his ego and his who he is can't hold up with what is going on in the world, and like how he's supposed to present himself? Is that like probably what happened? Like, because I mean, it'd be hard to be thrown into like the limelight and you're just not ready for it.
For
But
sure.
but you
That
can't. I
there's
mean,
truth to
that's not
that.
excusing why. It's not excusing what he's doing, but like just seeing it from the part of, I needed time to like take time to help my mental health. Okay, cool. Are we just using that now because that's what people say when they want to like cover up for something that they did bad, or is it just actually like his mental health?
Maybe a little bit of both, but like, in this case, I think I think it's just a piss poor excuse. You're using something that people actually physically need and need help on, for poor choices,
Mm-hmm.
reckless behavior, or things that you don't. If you feel that way, why are you going out to a nightclub with a gun, drinking? Like, if you're smart, things of your mental health, you wouldn't do that, like in general.
And
And
I've
you're
got to
hopefully people would tell you.
I've got to imagine this isn't the first time. Like if he's done, if like this happened, like this isn't probably the first time it's happened to him.
Yeah. And I have to tell you real quick. So in June of 2022, so literally right before the season, he did agree to a 5-year rookie maximum extension. So
Oh, it
he,
was a max deal.
yes. So he, a rookie max extension. So not a
Oh,
max
okay.
like deal, but a
Yep.
rookie
So he
max
got the
deal.
okay,
Yep.
exception. So
Yep. So like technically he did get paid, and then all this stuff is happening. The one thing that I think is craziest, and I don't know how you guys felt about that. Did you feel that everybody and their mothers had an opinion about what he needed to do or what he need? Like, oh,
yeah,
here's my advice for jaw, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. Every motherfucking people or just would not stop, and I was like, dude, that's annoying. Like he knows what the fuck to do. He doesn't need you. You're just using this to get
Well,
publicity.
clearly he doesn't.
He does. He does. He's
No,
just
he
making
doesn't.
bad choices.
But like, no, I
but
agree with you.
also
I think it was just a bunch of people wanting to
Right.
run their
So
mouth and whatnot.
who
But
who else has brought a gun to
exactly.
and like has gone, who's been a big face in the NBA that can tell him what he needs to do? Like,
So I know the three of us aren't in a public figure and stuff like that, but I would think all three of us at any point would know, especially nowadays, that bringing a gun to a club of all places is probably not the best place to do.
Well,
Period.
he's being investigated by the police now for that. Like he's got bigger issues on his hands now than the
He's
NBA
suspended by the NBA.
because that could be a huge felony.
Well, yeah, exactly. Was the gun actually assigned? Like, is it his gun? Does he have it registered? Doing things like that? He was concealed carrying, so he has to have a license.
Was he even
to
allowed to
carry.
have it on the premises of that club?
Was he allowed to
Exactly.
have it in Colorado? I know their gun laws are a little bit more strict than most. So it's like
Yeah.
if you're not a resident to Denver, which he's not, you have to have some kind of concealed carry permit. And does he have that concealed
Or
carry
like
permit?
a hunting permit?
Or even just like to walk around? Because I don't even know. I think they are
walking around.
they're I think that they're a concealed carry. They are not a concealed carry state without a permit, and you have to have a license in that state to have a permit, or you have to get a special permit. So it's just like the fact that he had that on him at a strip club I don't know if it's a strip club, but I'm just kidding. A club.
I think it was a club.
A club. Like, what the fuck? And also, what the fuck are your bouncers doing if you're not checking people coming in? God.
Yeah, that is
bodyguards.
funny. I mean, it was a small one, but it is interesting that got by.
Well,
Yeah,
is he actually walking around by himself, or does he have bodyguards?
Oh, he has body.
Why are the bodyguards letting him? Why are you having it?
Yeah, why do you have
like
it?
He obviously doesn't know, but he does know. He just made a dumbass decision.
How
like,
old is he?
knows what the fuck he did.
24?
He's young.
23, 24.
So
Yeah.
ultimately, I think at the end of the day, it comes up to poor choices, and this really is going to rattle things in the West because the Grizzlies without Ja,
Yeah.
maybe
And
not
they're already
the same.
Oh, they're falling apart. Well,
They're
that's
already
what's so
7
funny.
games behind.
Is recently he made some sort of a comment about, not being worried about the West. We got the West. Like the Grizzlies were very confident not too long ago, and now they've fallen apart because of him, because of injuries, and they're I don't think going to be contenders in the West for very much longer.
No.
This year at least.
Speaking of the West and transitioning from Ja, because I think we could seriously sit here for I could do a whole hour podcast, I think, on Ja and just his mental instability. But you guys get to watch any of that Suns and Mavericks game?
I watched the yelling.
Yeah, oh my god, I know. I didn't get to watch it either, but I definitely got some highlights.
So speaking of the yelling between Booker and Luka, was Booker,
it was Luka or Kyrie?
Okay, so started.
There's
with
multiple
Luka.
incidences.
Yeah,
okay,
but it started with Luka
one,
and Booker.
I saw the one that was Luka and Kyrie, or no, Booker and Kyrie. Like that's the one I saw, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah, Booker wanted to talk to everybody.
Okay,
yeah.
So
I love him.
So it started.
I'm not a big fan of the Suns, but I love Booker.
It started with Booker and Luka. Sorry, I thought it was Kyrie.
If you need a play-by-play real quick,
yeah, because I love basketball.
3 seconds. I know you do. It's your favorite sport. That's why I got it over with. Like 3 seconds left in the game. Luka just shot a shot and missed it.
Okay.
So like I think it was either to put them in the
it
lead
was a
game-winning
easy open layup to, I think, send it into overtime.
Wasn't a layup. It was like a fadeaway, but it was
It was right under the basket. That bitch was a layup.
But it did a weird bat. Whatever. It was something he probably should have made. And like as he was like walking away, I think Booker started like running his mouth, and then literally you can see it in the video. It turns like this. He just goes like right at him, and they're just like face to face, and they're just talking shit. But I think essentially what he just told him was like, "Oh, so now you're talking shit with 3 seconds left in the game. Like now you want to talk shit? Like you talk shit this entire game, and now you're going to do it."
Who do you think said that? Luka
said that to Booker,
because that's he called him out in the press conference afterwards as well. But what I was seeing is some people, like everything that I saw, it looked like Booker was talking to him right from the get-go. But I saw so many people saying he was talking to the ref, and then Luka got mad and did that. But I couldn't find the camera angle where it looks like he's talking to the ref.
Yeah, and either way or not, I think, hey, this is really good for both teams. It brings them in the public eye. It does, and you want that heated rivalry. And I don't think Booker's in the wrong for doing that. I don't think Luka's in the wrong for doing that, because when they're just heated emotions. And if I'm Luka, dude, I'm pissed too. I've missed the easy shot to fucking win the game.
That's or like to send to overtime. That's probably like the problem would happen. Like
I'm pissed.
And the Suns and Mavs have had a long career of like
it's
rivalry.
Only gonna get
It's basically Luka versus Booker, I think, in the recent years. Like that
in the recent years, but like when it was Dirk and Nash back in the day, like they've been like at each other's ends like for a while, since the 2000s at least. So
And I think we're going to see an exciting matchup in the playoffs.
100%.
And it's going to get even better because of KD and Kyrie, who are bringing their Brooklyn drama down south.
Do you think that they're friends?
To
Do you
enemies.
think they hate each other? Like what?
They didn't talk at all.
I don't think they like each other. I think there's like animosity maybe, but they're not going to be like dicks to each other. Does that make sense?
Okay.
They're not going to publicly make it a thing, but they didn't speak one word to each other the entire game. Well, they don't like each other.
Durant's not really like a talker. Durant is like he's not known to be like a. I mean, I've never really seen.
But I mean, I'm talking before the game.
No, I get that.
After the game, what's up, buddy? None of that.
But like, even I mean, I don't really remember Durant ever really getting into it with anybody. Like, I don't like off the top of my head. I don't.
On Twitter, he likes to.
He likes Twitter a lot. Yeah,
but I'm talking
about fans. He talks shit to fans all the time.
Hell yeah, not the players though. Okay, cool.
He does maybe a couple people, but
I mean, think about it.
Him and Draymond got into it.
Yeah, him and Draymond, but that was more because of Draymond. Draymond started that. But think about it. I mean, he got recruited to go to Brooklyn by Kyrie, and then Kyrie pulled a whole bunch of fuck shit that caused him not to play.
Again, I don't. Again, he said, she said. It was basically started off with COVID stuff, right? Not wanting to get a shot. Is basically what happened. He didn't want to get the shot,
so he didn't play.
But even before,
they wouldn't allow him
even
to play.
Before Kyrie was weird. Yes, then you had the COVID drama and whatever. What let him do that? What I have the issue with is that after that, the dude still finds a way to not play.
Yeah, because what happened? I forgot why he was like sat after that.
Well, the most recent shit this year.
Yeah.
It was his anti-Semitic views, and because he said something like, obviously, for those who don't know what that is something not nice about Jews.
Oh my gosh!
And I don't know what he said. I can't remember what he said, but that's why they also put him to the side. It was something. It wasn't. I don't think he made a statement about it. I think he's made a statement about a movie that was based on anti-Semitic. Like, I don't even know.
He was promoting a movie on Twitter that is filled with a bunch of like anti-Semitic theories that are very hateful and untrue. And when he was called out about it, he like doubled down, and like then that's when Nike dropped him, all this drama. But like, just wait, Dallas. I mean, he's gonna find a way to miss as many games as possible and take all of your money. Maybe he does not like to play basketball, from what I can see.
I don't know. We'll see.
Look at Boston.
We'll see. Hey, I get you. He has not have a good history since being off the Cavs. I can completely understand, and I hope for the Mavs' sake that that's not the case. But that's why they only signed him to this. He only has a year left.
You know,
he only has till the end of this year.
You know who this guy reminds me of? Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Because he has
something must have happened on the Cavs. Something must have happened. Because I don't remember seeing this. I don't remember seeing this early on. Like he was always
early on. He thought the world was flat.
Yeah, and then
he was a flat earther,
right? And
he's a weird dude.
He had that whole mental illness thing, right, where he had to take a little bit off at the Cavs.
Yeah, he may just have something like psychologically.
I think he's more like a Kanye, where like, there's quite a few screws loose.
That Kanye thing was so funny that Adidas dropped him and then re-signed him.
Did they really re-sign him?
They re-signed him.
No, they didn't re-sign him.
They re-signed the Yeezys, right?
Okay, but they didn't re-sign him. They just extended instead of not putting out any of the Yee collection that they were going to do, they just agreed to put out what they have of inventory, and then it's over.
Gotcha.
Yep. So
it's to get rid of their inventory.
You can't talk about sneakers and basketball. They go hand in hand.
So
they
do.
Yeah.
Never mind. We're not going back to Ja.
But
you can go back to the West, and we can just talk about the West. And I think at this point now, it's a clear front runner that the Nuggets are probably the best team in the West, 100%, hands down.
Yeah.
They look like the best contender, which is kind of crazy. But the Kings,
I think it'll come down to them and the Suns.
Second.
Yeah, they're coming quick. The Kings are looking good. The
Kings aren't going to do shit when it matters.
You think
when it matters, they're going to king.
But they're such a young team. You can't say that.
Young.
They're brand new. They really.
That's why I don't think they're going to do anything this year.
They got Fox. They got.
But sometimes that's the best kind. sometimes that's the best time is when you have this unexpected, right? To me, it's unexpected, and you're gonna get this like Cinderella story, this miracle run, or something along those lines. Either way or not, you can't take anything that the Kings have. I think in the West, at least the best turnaround from last year to this year. Amazing to be in the top 3, and then looking hot within it too.
Hey, Christopher.
Teams.
Hey, Christopher. Yes. I know this isn't on our topic list, but the Lakers might be making the playoffs. They're like right around the corner.
Every team in the freaking West, except 2 teams, are competitive within the playoffs.
I don't want to hear.
Literally is going to come to the last.
I'm
week.
going
and they're both Texas
stand
teams.
on my soapbox every podcast.
You still think they're not making it?
And tell you the Lakers aren't going to make it.
You still think they aren't making it?
Nope.
I think it's hard right now. To me, it's hard because 180 has to play lights out. I think they added some great talent, but like,
he just got hurt hearing you say that.
I know, and that's the hard part, right? That's the hard part is keeping him healthy. And he hasn't looked like he isn't himself. I think he had that one really good year when they first signed to the Lakers and they won that championship in the bubble. But I think since then, injuries have plagued him. He is not Anthony Davis, which is kind of sad.
No.
How many more games do they have left? Like 20, 25?
But you leave out the Rockets and you leave out the Spurs, and the West is still up for grabs. Literally week to week, we can change it, and it can go all over the place, which is really, really fun. And then you look at the East. My God,
it's a lot more set in stone.
Yeah, 100%. You definitely got your top 5. But I think there's some trouble. The Celtics that were on a hot streak for a long time, leading it, had a really good lead, and recently they kind of taking a little backward step.
Looks like the Bucks went on a 9-1 streak.
Bucks on a tear.
Look at them.
And the Celtics have gone 5-5 in the last 10 games, and they recently just lost to the Cavs, who again I think the Cavs made some hella offseason trades, and
which is ironic because right before they went on this run, they signed their coach to an extension, and he was like the interim coach, and they signed him to be the full head coach.
The Cavs?
No, the Celtics. Sorry,
the Celtics. Oh yeah. Oh, because all that stuff that happened earlier in the year.
Yeah. Yep.
I get that. Well, now you got what happens? Are the Celtics falling off, but will make a comeback and kind of get their stride going again?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah, like still too much time left.
Yeah,
it's okay also, to stumble right now.
Yeah, I also think it's good to stumble right now. This is when you want to stumble. Stumble now, fix it later. Do you guys like the Antetokounmpo trying to get a triple-double?
Yes.
No. Yeah? No, I am not a fan of that. No.
That's weak shit.
Why? What do you mean why?
It was like if it was like because it was like last minute of the game, it didn't really matter.
The NBA took it away from him.
Yeah, exactly. But that's
rightfully so.
Yeah, that's what I think is stupid. It didn't fucking matter. Who cares? It's just a stat. And it wasn't like he actually made the shot. It wasn't like he was a dick and went down there and shot the shot knowing that they're going to win.
Yeah, he purposely didn't make the shot.
Yeah, rebound.
But who the fuck? And like, who cares? It was just for a rebound, a single rebound.
I don't like to see stat padding.
I also think that's kind of scary that the NBA has the power to change statistics after the game's over. Because technically it was a rebound.
Yeah.
It was a rebound in all essence of the game. That's weird that they can like go back and just like change it.
Because if he legitimately tried to shoot and make it and missed and got it, this wouldn't be a thing.
You tell me that guy misses that shot. He's like right under the hoop.
Yeah, they're like, nah, fuck that.
I get what you're saying about like stat padding and things like that, but it's also like a way to like also a way to like leave your legacy. Well, it depends on who you want to talk
but
about.
It's a
like Russell Westbrook will go down as one of the most prolific like
triple doubles ever.
Basketball, triple doubles ever.
Yeah, that's what he did.
That's for him. That's his legacy and his history. Right.
Yeah, but
right. Giannis doesn't need to do that shit.
Yeah. No, but like
Giannis is gonna get MVPs and Finals MVPs. He doesn't need to be a stat patter like Russell does.
But it wasn't even like he intentionally is going to the game trying to stat pat.
I understand
like at the end, he's like, "Oh, I'm one away, so I'm gonna."
But can you imagine, like what is the news story on that? Giannis gets a triple double by having a weird rebound at the end of the game.
Giannis forces a mid shot to a rebound to get a triple double
with no defender on him.
Hey, I mean they're kind of around, but either way or not, I can understand where you're coming from with that. and what you're gonna say in stacked, but I thought it was just so silly and nonchalant that it was almost more comical than it was anything.
I'm gonna.
It
It
was like
was
everybody was like, he
comical.
really tried it. He really tried it.
He
Yeah,
did.
he did.
I'm gonna
It
predict
is
this
comical.
now.
I'm just not a fan of the stat padding that happens a lot in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Because
predict
you have
this
no one
now.
on the Pistons to do that.
The
Actually,
Boston-
I'm
Just kidding.
Damn.
so thrilled with Jaden Ivey right now.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
so
having
happy.
a hell of a rookie year.
I'm so happy that you are one game worse than the Spurs, and the Spurs are bad. So
Dude, I want to be bad. I want them to get the number 1 pick
It
because
actually
Kate
mean-
Cunningham's going to come back next year healthy.
Yep.
Jaden Ivey is tearing it up by himself as a rookie. And then if we can get Victor, watch the fuck out. In a blink of an eye, we are contenders in the East.
This guy.
Fast.
That was
This
bold. So many
guy.
other things to go into it. But that's the one thing I think I would say about the NBA that I necessarily don't love is like, dude, you still have to win the lottery.
Yeah.
You're not
The
even
lottery's fun
guaranteed.
and annoying at the same time.
Yeah.
It's actually not fun because you could be the absolute shittiest team. Like, who was the shittiest team
And get third
for years and get third? Yeah. Who was it?
But
for
I do
years?
like that it deters teams from just purposely tanking.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean,
If they're worse, they get more options, right? They put more little
Mhm.
balls in.
yeah, you
for 'em,
get
right?
a
So
higher
it's-
percentage.
So
Right.
it is a percentage based thing, which makes sense, but it does suck within these instances, right? Like, oh, I do want to be bad because we want to get a better draft, but the NBA says, ooh, no, we don't do that. We're kind of still
Yeah.
like, screwed.
Yeah, I get that. Other basketball, college section. We got the Selection Sunday coming up in a couple days. So be ready with your brackets. Like Chris said, we're not allowed to do our brackets on the air because there's too much sway about. So have your
We're
brackets
going
ready
to
for next week,
present
boys.
them next
We're gonna
pod.
present them.
I'll show you
Ryan-
mine if you show me yours.
I hope yours is bigger. And moving from do you have something to say on basketball?
No, I think just right. We just talked about it earlier. Like right now, we don't even know anything because the conference games are going on as we're recording this podcast.
Yeah,
I think
so
you said
it's-
that, Chris, right?
Yeah, the conference tournaments and whatnot are still happening. So really nothing to report on college basketball right now. But this weekend we'll have all 64 teams locked and loaded.
Yeah, it's our most known sport that we have in our league. So I mean, why not take a chance and risk it with us? Now we're gonna move from the hardwood to the ice, and we're gonna talk some hockey because I know that the boys over here love some hockey, and I would love for Chris to tell us about his Red Wings and what happened there.
You know, are you referring to the trade deadline?
I am referring to the trade deadline.
Well, the Red Wings are definitely making moves with the future in mind. Next year, they're moving on. They traded Tyler Bertuzzi, who his older brother, who was also a Red Wing. He was our goon. He was one of my favorite players of all time. He was a thug on the ice. So I obviously automatically liked Tyler. He was a great player, but we did get some decent compensation for him. I think most people who are Wings fans are bummed that we traded him, but in Steve Yzerman we trust.
I can't believe you called him a goon and a thug. You're too white to say that.
No, they are. No,
In
no,
hockey,
I know.
goon is
I
a
know.
thing.
I know.
goon is a thing.
And I thought
man, he
last
would
names are
destroy
hard
people.
in basketball sometimes. Man, hockey last
And
names are
you know what's even
god-awful.
Because
you know
a
what's
lot of
even
them are
worse?
Swedish and shit.
You know what's even
Russian.
worse, Chris? Not only did you lose Bertuzzi, but you just lost him to like the worst team to lose him to.
Oh, I know. The
The
team that's
Bruins.
guaranteed
Yeah,
to fucking win.
Yeah, the Bruins. So
Yeah.
they
Bruins are making moves.
yeah.
So were the Rangers.
Yeah, the Bruins made, and what sucked about the Bruins is the Bruins did exactly what they needed to, and that's add a goon squad, and that's kind of what they got. They're new, like they added 3 players. They added Hathaway. They added I can't remember, it's Olav or something like that, and then they added Bertuzzi, and they're kind of a goon squad. They're just kind of mean.
Yeah.
It-
I'm
it's
happy for him. He's gonna get a cup. I just would have
Yeah.
preferred that he did it like his brother and did it on the Wings.
100.
I know
don't
you
know.
said this earlier in the year, so I just wanted to touch base because I don't watch enough hockey to really know. But I remember
Mhm.
earlier in the year you talked about the Bruins were already stacked in rotation.
Yeah.
And this
They lost-
They got
adds,
scarier.
They just lost Hall though, which sucks. He's been having an up and down season. He hasn't been having a great season, but they just
lose
lost
him to
Hall.
injury.
Yeah, to injury. And what's it called? They just passed 100 points, the fastest team to ever hit 100 points, which is crazy. It's just ridiculous. The Penguins, on the other hand, are doing this really cool thing where they're doing the opposite of the Red Wings, and they're just going, if you're 31 years old, 32 years old, we would love to have you on our team. We would love to get you over here. They got rid of their fourth line center. They lost their like second line winger and their third line winger to add some old guys. They added what I can't even say his last name from Predators, which is really funny because we went to the game and the next day they added him to the team. Really weird.
They liked what he saw.
After that game against the Penguins.
Yeah, after the game against the Penguins, they added him to the team, which was great.
He's got to fly home with them, right?
That would be something.
Had to go
It's
get a
funny.
shit.
Yeah,
And then,
right.
yeah. So what? 31 in Garland, and then 32 in, I don't know how to say his last name, and then 34 in Bonanno. It's fucking.
You have to try to say his last name because
It's
no one knows who you're talking about.
Kalivko. I think it's Kulikov.
Okay.
Dimitri. But yeah, it's just kind of
I'm proud of
annoying.
you.
It's just kind of annoying that we are just adding old people, and
We
we're
just
going
take a
for
minute?
win
now mentality.
Yeah, well, you gotta think the philosophy. Easy for me to say. The philosophies are different. You
Did
guys
you just
still
have
have.
Alexism?
I just
Yeah.
had an Alex. I literally just had that thought in my head. I'm like, oh, I just became Alex. The Penguins still have Crosby, and so they've got the mentality of let's win while we still have Crosby. The Red Wings don't have that star player anymore, and so Yzerman is going at it like how he built the Tampa Bay team. You know, start really young and just build around great young players, and eventually it'll mature into a good team. But the Penguins are like, we got to go now.
Yeah, well, the problem is they have Letang paying a lot of money to. They got Malkin paying a lot of money too. They got Crosby, rightfully so, paying a lot of money too. Crosby, they're paying a lot of money to Crosby, but like,
You've been in Nashville too long.
yeah, it's a little bit. It's still got the little twang to my hand. But what I just like don't understand is, so your 1 and 2 centers on the lines are really, really good. You got Malkin, man looks old as fuck. Sometimes he looks like
He does.
You know, sometimes like in a
So does Ovechkin. I saw Ovechkin
dude.
last week, and I'm like, damn,
Ovi-
he looks like he's aged
He's
so much.
gray.
Ovi, man. But then but what's funny is he's actually a year older than Sidney Crosby, and Sidney Crosby looks young.
Yeah.
He looks very young. No, Ovi partied. Ovi would party. But it's just like they're just they have so much cap room in those 3 players, which rightfully so. They're great players, whatever. They've been with the Penguins forever. But your depth is very limited on that team. So if those 3 players don't perform well, it's going to be rough to see what happens because they've only gotten whatever. But then, and I think it's not right to talk about hockey without talking about literally might be the best player ever to play. We'll see what happens after his career. No, we'll see what happens when his career ends.
No one's passing Wayne Gretzky.
McDavid might pass Gretzky. I don't know, man.
It's impossible.
You never know. It's not impossible.
Different style game. There's no way he's ever scoring as many goals as Gretzky.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about he has 124 points this season. He's having a Gretzky-like season right now. Like he's having an insane amount of points. He could. They said
that about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and that his record would never be broken. And look what happened.
But Gretzky's record will never be broken. Like I know some records are meant to be broken, but Gretzky would still hold the highest number of points in a career if you took away his goals.
Yeah.
So like it's just like ridiculous to know that like he's still number 1 if you took away a whole category from him.
Oh no doubt for sure. But you know,
how many cups does McDavid have?
0.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, he has, but Gretzky only has 4.
That's 4 more than 0.
Yeah, it's 4 more than 0. Yeah, and it's pretty rough.
Thank you for pointing out the obvious, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
I like to do complex math.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like done. I want the Bruins to just like win it all this year and finally just get it over with it. I just want it to be over.
Why? That's even more reason for like a Cinderella story. Like that would even be more
You
epic.
should
I
watch
would
this
love
team
to see
play.
that.
You should watch this
Oh,
team
I
play
bet they're
hockey.
scary. Exactly. But like, I mean, there's Miracle on Ice if you're talking about hockey upsets. Like there's a lot of opportunity. People
No,
could
I
For
get it.
sure.
be in any
For sure.
But
given.
you know why I
It's
want it to
about
be
getting
over?
hot at the right time.
You know why I want it to be over is because if the playoffs started right now, do you know who the Penguins would play in the first round?
Bruins.
The Bruins. And I don't really want to play the Bruins in the first round.
We'll win some games, damn it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the Penguins won't make it in.
No. The Red Wings aren't making it either. And then we've got the Kraken slowly but surely seeing the settling in, seeing they're still a second-year team. But dude, they're killing it still for a second-year team. They could make the playoffs. It's very likely that they'll make the playoffs.
I mean, they're fourth in the West right now. I'm assuming they would.
Yeah. Just depends on how it looks. So you'd make it. You'd make the playoffs. Third in the West. You're behind the Knights, who are.
Last year we sucked.
Yeah, you did. You sucked last
year
year.
we sucked.
It'd be
You should have
crazy to-
expected to.
Oh,
The Knights were weird having such a good first season.
Well, they
That
had a
was what
lot
was
of
dope.
trades. A lot of people traded with them, which what didn't happen to the Kraken because they got screwed over from the Knights. So the fact that you're
the
this
Knights did this
good-
to us, so
Yeah. the fact that you're this good and the Knights are scary good still, and they just added Jonathan Quick and just another goaltender to like help.
It's insane that Quick is still.
Oh my
playing.
gosh, yeah, he was back when 2014 when they went to the Cup. I think that was
Right, and he was playing
insane.
before then.
Yeah.
So like
It's like-
he's been in there for a minute.
It's like freaking Mike Smith still playing. And you're like,
Right.
my God, you are so
Mike Smith's
old.
pretty old.
Mike Smith is pretty old. No brawls happened on the ice, but I know there's a big one that did happen this last weekend. Old man came back into the ring.
He's not even that old. That's the worst part.
How old is he?
Who?
I think he's just past 30.
John
We're talking
Jones?
about John
Oh,
Jones.
John
in the
Jones. I
UFC
think he's
fight.
34.
He did all of that and he retired, right? Like this is his
No.
comeback.
No, he's gonna fight again. Yeah,
He's
no,
retired in
no,
the sense that he kept getting suspended for pissing dirty.
Oh, okay.
Was it
my bad.
cocaine that it was, or what was it that he was doing? But I forgot. it
He's
was
had
one of
multiple
those.
incidences. Some
That's
with
really cool.
cocaine, some with like trace amounts of steroids. There's a lot of crazy John Jones stories
Isn't
of him
he-
avoiding being drug tested.
He's Brazilian, yes.
No, he's American.
No,
Oh, he's American?
He's
Yeah.
actually related to Chandler Jones and
The
There's
football
another
player?
Jones. Arthur
Yes.
Jones. Yep, Chandler Jones and Arthur Jones are both his brothers, and they're both
Yes.
Super Bowls winners.
Yep.
Wow. So that's an athletic family.
Yeah, I
For
talk about
sure.
a family of people, but he's arguably probably one of the most talented, like literally the most talented out of the
Yeah,
three, which is
probably.
I
Yeah,
can't
crazy.
stand him, but he's insanely talented.
He's
Well,
very talented.
I know I was telling you guys about this, but what was just so crazy is even before we get to his fight in general, that he had 10 title offenses before the age of 30, which is that's insane. And he
That's
won all
insane.
10 of those. At
Because
a
it's not
light
like-
heavyweight.
It's not like you fight every other week. It's like you got 3 or 4 months of preparation between each fight. Like you're not, and then you've got like 2 months off from each fight. You're not taking another fight right away. So it's insane that what he hold the belt for like 3 years, 4 years.
Wow.
On and off, he had to drop it a couple times for
Because of these allegations.
incidences.
Incidents. They're not allegations.
Uh,
They're happened.
yeah, they happened.
Mm.
There was a big one against Daniel Cormier where the fight didn't happen because he pissed dirty right before it happened, and it was a huge deal.
Isn't that, I
he
think I
has-
remember that. And they never fought, right?
Probably do. No, they fought.
Oh no, they
twice.
fought.
Oh, who won?
Yeah.
They fought twice or 3 times. It's one, I think it might have been 3,
I
but I think it's
think-
twice.
Where the
Sure.
fuck are
I
you,
think
Big Jam?
twice, but they were scheduled to fight 3 or 4 times. I think
Oh.
I think it fell through twice.
3 times for sure.
And John Jones has won every single one of them. The most recent one between them, Cormier was he looked like the winner the entire most of the fight, and then John Jones ended up knocking him out.
I remember that. I think I remember that fight. That was
Yeah,
within
actually
a
can't
couple of
remember.
years. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I did not know that. And I will tell you, when I didn't get to watch the whole fight, but it was a quick fight. So I watched the highlights and it basically
2
just showed you basically just showed you the fight from the highlights. I I did not realize that you could submit somebody from that position. I was like watching it. And I've seen UFC fights in that exact position and not get submitted. And I was like, what the hell is
Well,
going
did
on?
you see Henry Cajudo?
He predicted that.
He's John Jones' corner man, and he like saw that opening.
Well, yeah. What he did it with a guillotine choke, which it's pretty simple. It's not complex, but it's effective. And that's the one thing I think of John Jones. John Jones is a very, very talented fighter. I would say his most skilled thing is his submissions and his ground game. Like he is super, super talented in submitting people and forcing
he's lengthy, so right?
Dirty. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I was thinking of I was confusing him with Silva. I don't know why I got them. I got them. He fought Jake Paul, and I just wanted to get him on this podcast.
I'm fucking dead. Well, what's crazy is about this fight. So you're talking a little bit about the fight. So it was probably, I would arguably say, one of the most anticipated comebacks in the UFC. Everybody was stoked for this. It's John Jones, like he's coming back. And it took all of 2 minutes and a few seconds for him to submit him and become a heavyweight championship. Not only did he gained weight and stepped up, but like that, it was gone. Because I actually
what's crazy is he didn't look great. He looks
old.
Not old. He just he didn't carry the weight that he packed on very well.
He looked soft. He looked like soft body. That's what I would say.
Yes.
He wasn't like shredded. Like if you look at, I think his name is Cyril. I don't know exactly, but I think it's Cyril Gain. You looked at him, he was just fucking yoked. And if you look at Francis,
huge.
He's yoked.
Very like, natural, big guy.
Hooked. He gained the weight, and you could see he's kind of got a little bit of put. Like he had a little bit more of a soft body, so he was going in there like you could see he gained weight to be in that position.
So I was invited to go somewhere to watch that fight. And during the day, I ended up going to the Phoenix Highlander games, where they all wear kilts, and they do like the Scottish, like it's like the Scottish Olympics and all that shit. Great time, but spent too much time out in the sun and drink. Yeah, so I didn't make it over for the fight. So I was at home watching movies, and I got the notification, main event starting. John Jones return, and then I was like, oh, that's cool, yeah. Shit, like 2 minutes later, John Jones heavyweight champ. Well, like, what the fuck?
How? It just seems so seamless. It just, and sometimes like you can look at these as like, oh, that's kind of fluky, right? Not much of a fight. You don't really know what would happen, but also like that guy had no idea he was about to get in that position and didn't get fucking choked out. It was so quick.
Now I need to see. I know he called out Miocic right after the fight. I don't really care to see that. That'll be a good fight, but I want them to somehow get Francis Ngannou to come back.
Oh, they will.
Because that's the fight I need to see.
So here's the one. I love that you brought this up because the UFC to me is WrestleMania, is wrestling. It's Raw. It's the show. How epic of this, right? Like, hey, he now no longer becomes the heavyweight champion because of money issues. They bring in John Jones. He wins the heavyweight. Maybe fights one more time and then fights Francis as like, oh, this is Francis' comeback. Tell me that's not going to pay.
That
Wait,
they would be smart to back up a Brinks truck to get Ngannou to come back.
What happened
even
with
just
this
for
whole
that
Francis?
Fight.
He was
just not getting paid. I think he wanted something else, but it came with money. It came in a form of money and like health insurance.
So did he win the fight, or was it going into the fight?
No, he was the heavyweight champion for a while. His contract was ending, and him and the UFC could not agree on a contract extension. He wanted big money. He, like Justin said, I think he wanted some other guarantees that, like, let's be honest, the UFC treats their fighters like dog shit. So they weren't going to back down, because if they gave that to him, then any other top guy comes along is going to want the same thing or better. So they let him walk. And there's rumors of him, doing a boxing match to try and get that boxing money and whatnot. Sure, that'd be cool, but no, I want to see him come back and fight John Jones.
So I have to ask, does this, if anything, I don't know if you guys watch UFC leading up to this or know much, but does this make John Jones the GOAT?
I think a lot of people would tell you yes. I would say 98% yes, but I want to see him defend the heavyweight championship at least once. Like that was impressive, but I want to see someone who actually is going to bring it to him, who's going to have that size, that heavyweight striking power, like an Ngannou. So I want to see that before I can say
who's
that definitively.
Who's the guy who beat Brock Lesnar?
Which one?
The big they were fighting for the fight. They were fighting for the title.
Alistair Overeem.
Some big Mexican guy.
Either
that it had to have been Alistair Overeem is who you're thinking of, because that was his last.
A big face.
Or you're talking about Mike Hunt, who he beat. And he's Polynesian.
I completely understand who you're talking about or what you're saying, because like Gain is still a really good competitor within this, but like you have to show it more than once, and with another guy who's like of size, right? To kind of be in that, but it was still impressive. I thought that was crazy. I was like, damn.
That is nuts. Props to him. I mean, for sure, at least one of the greatest of all time, no doubt. But let me see a solid title defense, and then I'll say, yeah, for sure, no doubt.
Right.
The biggest hang up for me is just all his issues with piss and dirty and whatnot. But I know that there's a lot of that in the MMA, so maybe it is even playing ground when everyone's doing it.
Right.
Like I'd love to see him against Cain Velasquez.
Cain Velasquez is going to be serving prison time. So.
Yikes, bro. Yeah, okay, what happened? Yeah. Murder?
No, we already talked about this.
Attempted murder.
Yeah, we talked about this. Do you not remember this?
Nah, I don't.
How about you go back and listen to our podcast? Hey, Chris, where can you find the podcast
at? He can find it at the Three Amibros podcast.
Yeah,
I believe we talked about that episode 1 or 2. This is like old news for old Kane.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's my bad, guys. Hey, I'm sorry, guys. Hey, sorry.
That's okay.
That's
who you were thinking of, Hispanic and fighting Brock Lesnar. So
I forgot, but see, he never did. He wait? I guess he did fight Brock Lesnar in the UFC, but then they went.
Cain Velasquez. I mean, the only reason I say that is because the guy is freaking got a jaw and he's big.
And there's one of the other fights that I know that was recent that just happened was all I know is the lady. So the Hispanic, Hispanic inheritance. Yes, Shevchenko fought Grasso, which is a Hispanic girl, and the other one I believe is Russian, right?
Some sort of Eastern European. She might be Russian, something like that. Yeah.
Anyways, that one was also hell of an upset because she does look hella huge, and she's supposed to be a great boxer. But man, Grasso, like you saw some of her like punches and fights, dude. She was laying it on her, and then
good for her,
choking her out and becoming the second Mexican to win a UFC.
So she beat that mean looking girl.
Yeah, mean looking girl.
I don't know what it is.
That's not the way you're saying.
I don't know. I weigh in, bro.
She's only like mean looking in the octagon and shit.
No,
like outside of that.
No, at the weigh. I guess the weigh-in's the same thing, but she was just like, and I was like, oh my god, dude, I might get beat up just by looking at her. Oh my god.
So it was a good weekend. It was a good fight in general. I think that was fun. I love UFC. I just don't get the opportunity to watch it, I think, as much as everything else.
Do they have a fight every weekend?
Yes,
pretty much.
It's not some of every. They're not as big. Not everyone's big.
You definitely want
that was a big one.
Watch the headlines. That was a big one. Yeah, that's like a Conor McGregor comeback and fighting or something like that.
But then next week they'll have like a smaller card that's on ESPN Plus. You know.
One last thing with UFC was, did everybody see Jake Gyllenhaal and the ending of the movie?
Yeah. I didn't see the ending.
It wasn't the ending of the movie, but they showed a fight.
I saw his walkout.
Okay, so he did a walkout, and there's a video of him like actually fighting in the ring.
No, he fought in the arena,
and that was like.
I didn't see that.
Like a part of
the movie.
Right.
But like it was like, spoiler alert, motherfucker. We know he's gonna win. And that's how he wins. But anyways, it was still really cool because he would look jacked.
Well, let's be honest. Did anyone hear that he was doing, or forget it's him, just a fight movie in general, that they don't win the big fight at the end? I mean, you got Rocky, but beyond that, they always win at the end, you know?
I mean, here comes the boom, bro. Kevin.
Kevin James.
Big boy wins at the end.
But it was just kind of cool. I mean, I thought that was kind of unique. They did like their whole like weigh in and everything in front of the crowd with Dana White there. Then they did it in the like right before all the prelims. So just kind of unique. But
Cool.
what a cool experience to film a movie in an actual UFC arena in a UFC cage in front of UFC fans.
Well, and to have like a UFC based movie that UFC people could hopefully like.
Yeah, well, it gets more attention to the UFC. You know, everybody likes
Mhm.
football movies doing stuff like that. But I just thought that was cool, and I
I
just thought Jake
wonder-
Gyllenhaal looked nice.
I wonder how many people were stupid enough to just see like clips of him coming out or in the fight and going, damn, I didn't know Jake Gyllenhaal was fighting in the UFC tonight.
I'll be honest with you, I was one of those people. I had to do a little research before. I was like,
because
"Who the
that happens
fuck-"
any time that there's a movie filming in public, someone takes whatever they see as literal. Like,
they're-
do you
they're
guys
a movie
remember
star.
that
Jesus.
that Daddy movie with Will Ferrell
Yeah, that's so funny.
where he hits the kid with the ball at
Oh,
the
yeah.
basketball game? That was
Yeah.
filmed at a real basketball game. And I remember like when that clip came out of it, I remember someone I was friends with on Facebook going, this is why I don't like Will Ferrell. He's such a dickhead. You think you can do whatever you want. And it's like, fucking idiot. They're filming a movie.
Yeah, Daddy's Home.
Everybody just wants a right to say in people's lives.
Yeah, they do. Baseball's back.
Well, spring
Ish.
training.
Some guy got hit in the face.
It's back here. I can tell you right now. It's back
Yeah,
here.
that-
Some guy got hit in the face.
It happens.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Well, okay, I guess here's
I
it
watched
hap-
what that happened.
It
one
happens
time.
for sure, but I don't think 16 stitches to the face happens often.
That's
Like,
pretty
he got
gnarly.
drilled
That's
in the
gnarly.
face. Drilled.
And
I didn't see that. So what exactly happened? Was it on purpose? Did the pitch just get away from him?
Yeah, I can never tell with pitches because right, sometimes they get out of the hand, sometimes what. It didn't look like it was on purpose.
Can't imagine spring training's getting that heated.
Right, exactly.
it is.
But Justin Turner is the guy. He was played for the Red Sox, and he
Justin
just got,
Turner?
Oh yeah,
Justin
that's a
Turner.
big
Damn.
name.
It's a big name. I know
Got
that
just
one.
drilled in the face. So 16 stitches, and hopefully he'll be back by the time season's ready. But besides that, with baseball,
And that's
the most interesting thing in baseball right now.
That might be the first and last time baseball's on this podcast. And we're gonna move to
before we get to the NFL.
okay.
Because the XFL is doing its dirtiest to get out there and look popular and look. I think it's only right that we even just do a quick 5 minutes on the XFL. Because
They didn't know they were still playing games.
Yes, and it's fun because the Houston Roughnecks have never lost a game in the XFL. They were 3-0 before the pandemic, and now they're 5-0.
Good for them.
We're 5-0 and now 3-0, something like that. Whatever.
them.
Look pretty fun. St. Louis had over 30,000 people show up to the game.
St. Louis is sending a message to the Rams.
Yeah, like fuck you, we wanted you.
Well, even what's the Washington D.C. team for the XFL?
Defenders.
The Defenders, they get quite a showing too, and that's a big fuck you to the Commanders and Dan Snyder.
But it's fun. I think since Rock taking over, whatever it is, this year has been so fun to watch the XFL. Ben DiNucci is the league leader with passing, and then he's throwing to Josh Gordon, by the way. That all hell here in Seattle.
Ben
Wild.
DiNucci.
And I'm excited because we get to go to their very last game of the season. So I'm pumped to go watch it. I'm pumped to go to a game and just feel football, right? At least in Seattle. But it's fun, dude. I mean, hey, they've done a really, really, really great job at promoting it and getting people to watch it and be there. Like you just said, no matter how you get them, 30,000 people to a football game.
Of people.
That's not the NFL. Is pretty good.
It's a lot of
For
people.
sure.
Oh, there's 10 weeks. Good for them. That's good. Wow.
Yeah, and they do 2 games, 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday.
Good for them. I haven't watched a game. We've got the more established, bigger brother of the XFL, and that's the NFL. And we've got some big names, not Ben DiNucci or Josh Gordon, but we got some bigger names, aka Derek Carr. I know this is old news if you're listening to this now, but if you didn't know, Derek Carr is now in a state close to mine in Louisiana, going to play for the Saints. $150 million 4 years, 100 guaranteed.
It's the 100 million guarantee that gets
That's insane.
He's just jumping from desert Vegas to swamp Vegas, going from Vegas to New Orleans. And which is so funny because he's such a wholesome dude.
Such a nice guy.
But I think he'll do great down there.
I think he'll be good. I mean, they have Olave.
That's a horrible division right now.
100%. They have Olave. And they have
a big fuck you to Jameis Winston.
Yeah, he'll probably be cut.
That's fine. Yeah. Get him out of there.
It's a big fuck you to the Raiders, considering that's the only team that would be willing to trade for him. And he said no. And then he goes and signs there anyway.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
They always have the NFL has the teams have so much power they can do all this, and he's like, you know what? Nah, fuck you, cut me.
I think he I think it's interesting. I don't know what it makes him maybe probably win that division because they are going to be trash after the year, but like it's still going to be interesting because whole different everything.
Also, there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. Jameis will find somewhere.
Oh my god, but
he'll be a backup somewhere.
100 million guarantee. That's a lot.
Well, it's deceiving. It's like 100 million like full contract, but I think only 70 of it is actually fully guaranteed.
Okay, still 70 guaranteed. That's
still
a lot of
shit ton.
Yeah,
like
a lot of money.
But I think the one I'm more excited about is actually the Geno Smith one and re-signing with the Hawks for 3 years, 105 million. I thought
good
that
for
was
him.
305, like up to 105, up to 105. So it's not that he got guaranteed the 105, but he can make up to 105 in incentives, which I thought was crazy.
Good for him.
Dude, well, I know
reinvigorating his
not
career.
Only is Alex ecstatic that McJam can't be here to call him out. I know that he is feeling great, that there's a pretty damn good chance he don't have to deal with Lamar anymore. Because they gave him the non-exclusive tag today, so it's pretty much
I might
not a done deal, but he's pretty much gone.
I might become a Lamar fan. I don't want to be that guy, but I might become a Lamar fan.
I fucking hate you. No, like
he might
I hate you.
Trashed him all
so
year.
many times. I like literally in person, not even over the podcast, in person, a heated debate. Remember when we were driving to wherever the fuck in Tennessee, and you had this heated ass debate with me for like 30 minutes about Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, because
you're all red.
Right,
it was heated. It was, and Rose was just sitting in the back of the car, just like
right now. As a Raven, he's not a top 10 quarterback. Maybe out of a Ravens suit, he could be a top 10 quarterback.
Okay, well, before you talk about him too, you also have to mention like Daniel Jones just signed with
Danny
the fucking Giants
what the
for
fuck,
160 million for 4 years and 82 million guarantee. Okay, with all these being said, what does it mean for the quarterback market and quarterbacks like Lamar? Lamar is going Lamar is above all three of those quarterbacks that are getting paid stupid money. So what the fuck do you pay Lamar?
Well, I mean, I would say he's
so if you did a 4-year contract for Lamar, how much you paying him?
180 guaranteed.
200 total with 180 guaranteed.
Yeah, like what the fuck is supposed to
you serious?
Well, like what the fuck is well when you have 70 guaranteed for Derek Carr, and Derek Carr is an above average quarterback. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you have arguably a top 10 quarterback go out there. And also, like, does that mean, so I know we haven't talked about it yet, but if the Jets trade for Aaron Rodgers, can they restructure his contract?
Yes.
Okay. So it's like, what does that look like when you have fucking people who shouldn't even be on the football field get paid $200 fucking million or whatever it was guaranteed?
Aaron Rodgers would never get paid like that just because of his age.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying
too much of a liability to get paid like that.
Deshaun Watson.
Can you still? Yeah, whatever. We talk about this all. Anyway, you can bring it up. I love it. $200 million. I can understand, but 180 guarantee.
It's like, well, what are you supposed to What are you supposed to do to get? What do you?
Okay, would you prefer this? Would you prefer 4 years, 220, 200 guaranteed? You still think that's low ball? You still think that's a low ball?
I don't think it's a low. I don't know. No, I think it's high. I don't think it's. I don't think it's a low ball by any means. I just think it's insane because what does that? Okay, what does that do for your cap space?
Oh, it kills it.
At that point,
you can balance it with signing bonuses and whatnot, but
that's what kind of makes me start mad a little bit because you're willing to pay this man all this much, but you can't add the talent around to make him good.
Hold on. what I
Sure.
don't understand is what is a team going to offer though that he's going to be like, "Yep, let's go."
I
Because
think he
I'm
just wants out.
Yeah.
Like
You
truthfully, to
think
me,
so?
like I don't think for the
But
Ravens,
then
that's what he wanted because he
so
felt like he deserved it and he did all this. And now I think at this point, like it's obvious they're not willing to give it
okay,
to him. It's without a
question
doubt.
about
Answer.
his like thing. If say you're the Lions, because I know Chris would love to have him. Say you're
Yes,
okay,
but no.
whatever.
No.
Say you pay him, whatever. Say you're like the Atlanta Falcons, and I guess they put their name out of it. Whatever.
They're
Say you're
out,
the
yeah.
team, yeah. Say you're a team that wants to sign him. You offered 200 million guaranteed, 220, whatever. If the Ravens say I will match that, do they automatically get
Yes.
him? They
Yep.
automatically get him. Okay,
Mhm.
that's kind of shitty.
It's super shitty. Like to me, that's super shitty because it's not in the best interest of the player.
Or are the Ravens trying to make Lamar do their dirty work, find a team that's willing to sign him for that contract, and then trade him?
Yeah.
No,
No.
because the only thing they can get out of it is 2 firsts. Not saying that
Oh,
that's anything to
it's
turn
a
your
lot
nose
though.
up at. That's a lot, but that is the end of it. Where if they were to trade him on their own, they could get more.
And
And
then
how
what does that?
unique is this? This is such a unique thing.
It's
I don't
happened
remember
before.
with who.
Um, as far as being bought out, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. But as far as them
Non-exempt
not being able to
franchise
strike a
tags.
deal, yeah, and just going through the franchise tags, you got Kirk Cousins who took full advantage of those from the Commanders before then he dipped out to go and join the Vikings. Like there's been guys that have decided that they're not going to sign long
And
term with their team.
was that on Lamar to
Okay.
say I want to have an unrestricted? That wasn't on the
No,
Ravens, right?
that's on the Ravens because
Okay.
the restricted tag would cost them a lot more than the unrestricted.
You guys, this kind of sounds crazy, and I don't know if they have the cap space. But could you imagine him going to the Commanders? Actually,
Actually, that has been one of the
they've
teams
talked about it, right?
I've
Yeah.
heard could go after him.
he would be just an earshot away from Maryland, so the Baltimore
Yep.
Ravens would still have to hear about him.
Yep.
And at the
Different
same
division.
time,
I might love him. He might be my
Different
favorite
conference.
quarterback in that division.
and they just signed Eric Bimbley.
The enemy.
Bieniemy.
Thank you.
But also with that, Bieniemy, is it really Bieniemy's offense? Is it just Andy Reid is a freaking wizard?
Well, we'll get to find out. I mean,
Yeah,
I
we'll
think worst
see.
case scenario, any of the offensive genius that is Andy Reid has to have rubbed off on him in some
How
respect.
many years? Yeah, how many years
I
is
So-
there?
I just look at these guarantees and these contracts, and it inflates the market for quarterbacks. Like Derek Carr, I don't think he's worth that much money. Like even
70
throughout his
million though is
play,
I know a lot of Saints fans are pissed.
yeah. Well, like he's just he's above average. He's not even that great. And okay, we'll get into this later, but the combine with quarterbacks specifically, holy
yeah, but you
shit,
don't know if
they have
that
so many
transfers to the
options.
NFL.
100. So they have a win now mentality. See, that's the difference. So you want to win now.
Yeah.
'cause that's
But you
why
don't
you're
even
signing
know if
They
professional
see the
quarterback.
opening in the division.
But that's also poor and lame because you could still have done that with a young quarterback. You could still you could and you still could, but whatever.
Yeah, the thing,
They
but
still
what
could.
also like I mean, like you're I guess 70 million you said guaranteed. He has a chance to get the 100 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
Right?
it's basically a 4-year deal, but really they're only tied to him for 3 years.
Okay, cool. So, but you have Daniel Jones at 82 million guaranteed.
About 4 years for 160.
And I think that's kind of shitty because they signed Daniel Jones, but then franchise tagged.
No, that's exactly
It was
what
going to
they
be
wanted.
one or the other.
That's exactly what we predicted. We
Yeah,
thought
but
that they would do that because
yeah,
he's
but
cheaper than Saquon.
yeah, and the
Yep.
running back, man, it's just a tough
And
decision.
And Saquon is just coming off injury, had his first year, 4 year off injury. Where Daniel Jones is not.
That's best case scenario for the Giants because if they couldn't reach a deal with Daniel Jones, they would have tagged him, and then Saquon probably would have been gone from the team. They wouldn't have signed him. They're only tagging him because
They need another year.
it's a lot cheaper.
Mhm. And then, well, I mean, like, yeah, what isn't it crazy to see 3 running backs on big teams tagged this year? Pollard, Barkley, and
No one wants to
Jacobs.
pay a running back except the Dallas Cowboys. And even they tagged Pollard.
Well, I think because okay, well that's perfect segue into what actual franchise tags have been happening. So yeah, Saquon, Tony Pollard with the Cowboys, which I think is obvious. Like with the lack of production that Zeke has done, you have to keep him because Tony Pollard balled out. Well, at this point now, like you guys said it.
Damn right he did.
What does that look like for Zeke? Right? Like, what's the restructure?
Get rid of him.
Or there's no true number. No, they won't get rid of him.
No, they won't.
They actually like him. Like Jerry
He'll
Jones
come
likes
back
him.
for cheaper than what he's guaranteed.
I think definitely come back cheaper, and then he's just going to be our red zone guy. Like he's going to be the blunt. But then you got Daron Payne with the Commanders, just got franchise tag. He had his career high in sacks last year. Evan Ingram with the Jags, which I thought was super random.
Yeah, that was very random.
Then Josh Jacobs with the
I
Raiders.
fucking let him walk if he's not going to sign. Like I don't think Evan Ingram's that special to tag.
Maybe they just wanted to throw
Evan
somebody
Ingram.
on tag.
It's Evan Ingram. Couldn't believe you.
What?
What'd I say?
No, it's Evan Ingram. Come on. I'm just saying, like, come on, it's Evan Ingram. Why won't you tag him?
He's having an Alexism. Hold on, give him a second.
No,
sorry.
I'm good. I'm good. No, I'm good. But yeah, I think. Do you think that the tag was beneficial for the league?
Yes.
Yes.
Not for the players.
But no, not for the players. But it doesn't matter for the players. It's always for the league. Like that's
it's protecting the team's assets.
It's protecting the team asses. Don't get it wrong.
True.
Well, at the end of the day, it is a business, and a lot of the teams get paid off the likelihood of the players. Like
look at Le'Veon.
Like. Yeah.
If the tag didn't exist, the Steelers would have had no choice but to either sign him or let him walk. Now, granted, he
would have played for 2
sitting
years.
out.
Yeah.
No, they would have had to sign him to get him to play for those 2 years.
But
so
they
would have lost him no matter what.
He would have played for 2 years, and who knows what would have happened in those 2 years.
They most likely would have signed him, like you're saying, and he would have done probably nothing.
You don't know that.
Running backs I love running backs, but they reach a point and they fall off.
Well, also, do you think that the quarterback's inflation of like contracts is just inflating everything else?
Yeah, I want them to just have their own cap.
For quarterbacks?
Yes.
Take it out of the cap.
If you can pay your coach anything you fucking want and it has no effect on your cap, then I think the quarterback should kind of be in that realm too.
Well, that just also puts a damper on small market teams. Like you can't pay them the same.
It does, but that damper is happening regardless.
Yeah, because you still have a certain cap that you can't go over. And sure, you can put it all into a quarterback, but then who you throw into, what are you doing,
Right.
Yeah. I think that'd be interesting. These are gonna be good things for the year to come, especially.
But then you could put a cap on like what you'd pay your quarterback. But
yeah, you could put a cap on it. It would just be separate from
take it out of like the actual cap, because that like you said, it's like, yeah, sure, they get Lamar Jackson, but then it's like, okay, now you owe him $200 million guaranteed. You have to put that into escrow. Who the fuck is he gonna throw to?
Right.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is Ravens still don't have any wideouts.
Yeah. And before we get to the combine, because I know that's a big one for everybody, did you guys see KJ Osborne save the lives of that guy in a car accident?
I did. That was awesome.
That was kind of cool.
That was a nice story.
Calvin Ridley coming back in the NFL finally. He's okay to
finally. Let's go.
Stupid suspension to begin with. So I'm excited to see him back. He was always a fantasy favorite of mine. So I'm excited.
Be interesting how he does too, because he's on a brand new team.
Yep.
So see that, and then Chiefs release Frank Clark, or expected to release Frank Clark, and the Vikings release Eric Kendricks, which were 2 big household names, I would say.
Very. Yep.
So interesting to see how the rest of it goes and what comes out. But when we get to the combine, did anybody actually take any time to watch the combine? It sounds like Saturday you were way too drunk to do that.
Yeah. I saw the combine. I didn't watch it all entirety. Basically, I do the combine by players that I would like to see the Lions go after, or Michigan players, because I like to see how they do and whatnot. And to be honest with you, this year, I I don't have any strong opinions about what the Lions do. So I was kind of just seeing what the top guys at the draft or at the combine were doing, and happy to see DJ Turner out of Michigan light it up at the 40 as the fastest 40 time for
How
any of the
fast was he?
defensive backs. 4.24, I believe.
Oh, that's quick, bro.
Maybe 4.26.
So quick.
Damn, could really use you, McJam. But very, very fast. And then Mozzie Smith, also from Michigan, put up the bench pressing record for all the defensive ends.
Did you see the
combine?
Not
that any of that shit matters.
No, it doesn't. Did you see the kid who tore his ACL at the combine, still bench?
No.
Tore his ACL at the combine, an offensive lineman. Tore his ACL at the combine, still bench 34 reps.
Don't need your knee to bench, so.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there. Also, I want to jump right back to the Lamar thing just for 2 seconds. There's like a lot of teams saying that they're out. The Falcons, the Dolphins, the Panthers, the Commanders, and the Raiders are all saying that they're out.
Yeah, that's here talk. I'll wait till the fat lady sings, and that's when it ends.
Yeah, that could also just be
ploy
negotiating, you know.
Yeah, but it did look like there was a lot of fun at the combine. This Anthony Richardson kid.
So that's what I'm talking. Let's
so
talk
torn.
about his hype. So one, you got to say what he did. He ran a 4.4 40 time. He's the fourth fastest quarterback. He's the size of Cam Newton and ran faster than him. He broke records in the broad jump and the vertical jump. To me, he's
just an athletic
definitely
freak.
The most hyped quarterback. Not going in. I think going in, maybe not really, but there at the combine, he fucking showed out.
He's from Florida.
Yeah, you see that 60-yard throw he made with like ease. It didn't even look like he fucking batted like any sweat, nothing. Just
the Kentucky kid.
Here's my biggest hang up on him. Like, sure, tear it up at the combine. Like, you're very athletically gifted, but the dude barely played college ball.
You know who this reminds me of?
Very few games. Trey Lance.
No. The guy who Tennessee drafted that the Steelers thankfully did not.
Out of Liberty, Malik Willis. Yeah.
It's just similar, like it's just like a flash, right? It's like he did these things. Look at this crazy throw that he made, right?
And here's my only difference. Is this gentleman, Anthony Richards, is a fucking unit.
Yeah,
Willis is tiny, and he did really good with Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
Richardson did decent with Florida, but not over the best. But dude, what a freak of nature! Like, he is so.
And later in the rounds, it's definitely worth a try and stab.
Oh, he's gonna go fast.
He's top 15.
Oh,
he got way too much hype this weekend to not go pretty quickly.
But that's but okay, now you're wasting a draft pick on somebody who is
wasting.
You don't know. I'm not. I'm saying I'm skeptical because he didn't get a lot of playing time in college. But for all we know, he could fucking be a stud.
He looks like a stud. But the thing that just happens, like the thing that goes back to me is like he looks like a stud at the combine. I'm not gonna fucking crazy.
Keyword at the combine.
Yeah, at the combine. That's the thing.
Certain games though during Florida too. Like they had some
flashes.
But I think if you're a team willing to make a risk that it doesn't need a quarterback, but would still pick one up, or someone who is needy,
you're not
it's still not a bad option.
You're not going to be top 15 if you need a quarterback. If you don't need a quarterback, like there's a lot of teams out there that still need a quarterback.
Oh, exactly.
His best situation is to go somewhere where he can sit for at least the first year, maybe even the first 2 years, and really develop. And then I think that'll be his best chance at being scary in the league.
Because he looks crazy. Like that throw, like he's talking about the 60-yard throw, that arm looks kind of insane. But I feel like all of them had kind of a crazy arm at that time.
So tell me then, are you guys think he is way overhyped, or do you think he is living up to the hype that everybody's doing?
He's overhyped to me.
I think I understand the hype. It always happens every year at the combine where someone lights it up and really grabs attention, and his is very understandable. Like you said, the size, the stats he was putting up,
you could say
the throws he was making.
He overshadowed every single quarterback that was in
Yeah.
there. He heard nothing about CJ Stroud. I don't know Bryce Young.
Will
actually
Levis,
attended.
I'm not hearing shit about anymore.
I didn't hear much. I just heard a couple
He,
things, nothing too
I
crazy.
saw the
Did
I saw
Bryce
the big
Young
one was the throw. He
was
didn't
Bryce Young
throw.
at
Yeah,
the
he has
combine?
a decent cannon.
Was Bryce Young at the combine?
I
Yes,
don't.
but he did not
He
throw.
didn't throw. Yeah.
I heard nothing about him.
Yeah. It's because
Yeah.
he was there to meet with teams, talk with them, I think do the physicals and all that kind of bullshit.
Is
But
he
he
gonna?
was not going to throw until his pro day.
Yeah, he's gonna throw at Alabama's pro day.
Yep.
Why?
Makes sense.
Some of these quarterbacks want to control the situation at the combine. You're throwing to guys you've never thrown to before. And you're kind of at the will, I think, of the people running it as to what you're going to do. Where at your own pro day, you're throwing to your guys that you've thrown to all year, and you're running
Yep.
routes and things that you're comfortable running, you know.
I don't know who I saw, but I saw a TikTok, and it was of
Juju Smith.
No, fuck that guy. I saw of a tight end moving the push bags, and it like moved it like 5 or 6 yards, right?
By
And then
himself?
and then they showed every other tight end do it move like a yard. He's
Was
like
it Darnell Washington for Georgia? That dude's a fucking unit.
Is he a tight end?
Were you gonna say black? Yes, he's black.
No, I'm not gonna say black. I was gonna say is he a tight end?
Yes, he's a tight end.
That motherfucker, and he's tall as
he is-
shit.
Okay, so I literally put fast, skilled, and size. He was fucking huge.
Motherfucker's huge. Like
Huge.
I don't like him
you don't like
Why?
him, huh?
because he was unstoppable last year against Michigan. Like that dude is crazy good.
That's what I'm saying. Like
so-
that's like you think that's
Well,
like a
who?
team?
He's probably the second. Remember when Kyle Pitts got all that like hype for
Yeah.
a minute? I would
Yeah.
say he's basically going to be
Kyle Pitts
better than Kyle Pitts.
kind of lived up to the hype.
No,
He's been doing well.
He
I mean,
needs a quarterback.
Yeah. He didn't have very many touchdowns, which is fine. Whatever. I mean, as a tight end, that's what you kind of need to do. But
Well, blocking's important
yeah.
too.
But I mean, this man fucker's huge.
I don't know if you saw this other guy from Georgia that I really liked, but his name was Nolan Smith. He's a linebacker, kind of small for like a linebacker, but he was killing it between the 40 time, his bench press time, his jumps, all those. He was really fucking impressive.
Yeah, wasn't there like an offensive
Staying on the
line?
Georgia team, I didn't hear shit about Stetson Bennett.
Yeah,
I
I
saw him
heard it.
throw.
I heard his run. His run. He was pretty quick.
No, he's quick.
He was decent
Four
run.
4.6, I think.
I'm not
4.6.
like out of all the quarterbacks, he's the least you're hearing about.
I think that's what it. I mean, he's kind of the least you heard about in the league as well. Like Bryce Young overshadowed him. CJ Stroud overshadowed. I would say even almost the Kentucky kid overshadowed Stetson Bennett.
This
Stetson
year,
Bennett.
Yeah.
If Stetson Bennett was not like look at this kid play. He was just like look at how old this guy is.
Game
compared to everybody.
manager.
Yeah.
So I guess we need to change that question. If you were to say who's now the new number one going, if you still saying CJ Stroud?
I think it's Bryce Young.
No, I'm sticking with CJ Stroud actually.
To Houston? No, I guess I'm a trade up for him.
Even though they're claiming they're not going, well, not claiming they're not going to, but making comments like they're not going to, I still think the Colts trade up. And yeah, I think they grab CJ Stroud.
How funny would it be if the Chicago Justin Fields trade away Justin Field and take the next Ohio State quarterback? I know that won't happen, but I'm just saying how funny would it be to just like
CJ Stroud already came out and said he doesn't want to go to Chicago. He
doesn't wanna
said
go to
that's Justin
Chicago?
Fields' team.
Yeah, Chicago Justin Fields. They're
Yeah.
fucking great.
He also said that he would have won 2 Heismans in a row if it wasn't for Michigan. So
Actually, I was just thinking about this and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Anthony Richards might be a really great person for Houston and get me because Houston's running back is Damian Pierce and he was a Florida guy.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, but do you as a rookie head coach take the gamble with the second overall pick that your GM probably has a lot of say in?
You're probably taking a gamble either way.
I mean, Bryce Young is
Well, DeMeco
less-
Ryan is a defensive coach.
yeah.
So as long as that defense is stellar, I think he can get a shot with a rookie QB, and if it
Mm.
doesn't work out, it's not going to cost him his job because look at what he's doing on defense. So
And
I
that's what
say
we
take
hired him
that
for.
risk.
You say with Anthony Richardson?
Because
Or just a
here's-
rookie QB in general.
No, that's what I'm saying.
here's
But
what you
like
say
Bryce
about
Young,
Bryce Young. Bryce Young is like kind of tiny.
He's
he's kind of
tiny.
tiny. He
doesn't
very
have the
small.
arm that these other guys do.
Mm-hmm.
I think like from what I've just seen, I think he's hurt a little bit by this hype, and I think Anthony Richardson will go before Bryce Young just because of all that. 'Cause,
Motherfucker's
dude,
huge.
Now that is a bold take.
That's a hot take.
We're
That's a
gonna
hot
come
take.
back and revisit that one at the draft because if that happens, that'll be big. But I
Because
could
that
see
would-
it happening. That's
That
how
would mean
much
that
hype
that
is
would
behind
mean that he had to
Richardson.
go. Well, you also have a month until the draft, right?
Right.
Month and a half. So like,
Still, I
you
got
have
a lot of pro days.
and you have a lot of time for Anthony Richardson to lose the hype of what happened at the combine.
Yeah, 100% lose, but also Bryce Young. Like it works both ways, right? You go
100%. If Bryce Young
yeah.
has a horrible pro day, which
There was
usually doesn't
one- he
happen,
won't.
but yeah,
There was one thing that I was reading and I like couldn't believe what I was reading, but it was about Anthony Richardson and like the size of him, and it was comparing him to like current day athletes. Did you guys see that?
no,
It was
I
like the
didn't.
size of his hands were as big as George Kittle's or something silly like that. I have to
Holy
fucking
crap!
find it,
I
but it
just
was-
like think that the combine is one of those overrated things. Like, sure, it's important. Sure, it's
Yeah.
fun to see, but like, also at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you're putting them through one drill that they get one chance to do.
Right.
So this is actually a really good thing because this is one thing I had in there is there is so much hype around the 40-yard dash and the 40-yard dash specifically. Like they're always in awe. They're always talking about it. I would say it's the thing that gets shown the most. But is
It's
there
a fun
too much
one.
hype? Is there too much hype around the 40-yard dash? And does the 40-yard even relate to success at all in NFL? Like
It definitely does not relate to success. It's just a fun event to kind of compare speeds, I think.
And everybody
and
does it.
Everybody does it. So it's just kind of fun to see, okay, who has, it's not just about speed, it's about acceleration because the 40 dash is quick. So like how fast can you get off the line, and then when you are reaching top speed, how fast is that top speed? So I think there is a lot that you can learn from the 40-yard dash. Like DJ Turner, like you learn that fucking dude's going to keep up with the fastest wide receivers in the league. But then with other positions, like quarterback, I don't think that really matters
Unless
as
you're
much.
a running style quarterback. I think it just would more matter if it's like you are a slow DB, or like I think it would matter if you're more slow than if you are fast. Because I think if you run I think the difference between a 4.4 and a 4.6 really isn't that much in DB's perspective, right?
Yeah, if you're running like a 5 or a 6, yeah, definitely that's questionable.
Sure.
But like I think John Ross, fastest 40 time ever. Where is he?
Exactly.
He
XFL?
let his draft stock went up so high because of it. And then he
XFL?
hasn't done shit.
Oh, is he still in the NFL?
No, I think he's still in the NFL, but
Oh.
like he's not doing much.
He got drafted he got drafted by the Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals grabbed him. Did you guys see? I believe he's a defensive tackle who had an insane 40 time.
Yes.
Like I think he beat out D Hop's 40 time.
Oh my! It was I can't even say his name if I wanted to. I'm gonna pull Alexism here.
Hell yeah.
Wamwa Edobor.
Okay.
I don't know where the fuck he came from.
Where'd he go to college?
That's fucking ridiculous.
Shoot, he went to Northwestern, and he
Okay.
ran a
Small little
official
college.
4.49.
4.49 as a
Yeah.
defensive lineman.
Big boy was hauling ass.
Did you say he's a D tackle? Not even a D end?
wanted him. I wanted him.
That is
He's so
insane, bro. That is a cool. And you know
Could
what
you
that
imagine being a quarterback and having a guy like that coming at you?
Well, like the thing
know.
too is like
Fuck.
that's not just like that is where it equates to, that is acceleration off the ball. Like,
Right.
that is getting off the ball.
That's where you can look at that and go, that's impressive, and we could use that.
That probably
But yeah,
helped
for
his
the most
draft
part,
stock.
I think every event at the combine's fun. It serves some sort of purpose. The bench press, you can see who's got endurance with their strength.
That 5'5" guy jumping
Crazy tall.
39,
Yeah.
39.
But at the end of the day, I think every GM and scout needs to rely more on game tape than
Yeah.
combine tape.
So here's the what I think about that. Anthony Richards, he's 6'4". He's taller than George Kittle. He's 244 pounds, which is heavier than Hassan Riddick. Do we know him? His hand size is 10.5 inches, which is bigger than DeAndre
He's
Hopkins.
244 pounds.
Yes.
Yeah,
his
he's like
hands
Cam
are
Newton.
bigger than D-Hop. His vertical is higher than Devontae Adams, and his broad jump was longer than Odell Beckham.
See, he's got all the
Holy
attributes to like be really
I
good.
understand the hype.
But
I
like
get it.
where
That
the
right
only
there-
thing is what's going on up here. Like I don't know much about him, so I can't say like. But
Cam
like
Newton.
is the football sense up here, right? Because you can be that great of athletic, and then not have the football sense.
But you need to know how to read the fucking defense like a
right,
book.
and you need to know how to read the defense. NFL defense, college, like you can
Right.
put someone
It's
very,
different.
you can put someone very athletic and pretty okay at quarterback, and they will have a successful time in college. Now it's like,
Yeah, you just
guys
tell them
that-
this is the route and this is your first option, and they'll do halfway decent.
and then they'll just run the ball. If
But that
they
reminds
get
you of
in
like
trouble.
Cam Newton. Like Cam Newton was an athlete more than they drafted Cam Newton based off his athleticism. I would say more than like anything else. Like there's hype around him, but he's huge. He was that.
But
like,
he
this
like
that.
he also
Wasn't he the
learned-
Heisman though?
Yeah.
He was
won
the Heisman,
and
he
won
won
a
a
national
natty.
champion. Yeah, he actually like
He
don't get me
went
wrong, like, there
from
was that.
Florida, he was behind Tim Tebow, was getting
Tebow.
impatient with Tebow, so was like, fuck
Good.
this, I'm out. Went to Auburn, tore it up. Like his hype was very well deserved based on his college accolades, where this guy, like I said, barely
and
played much.
He took a team to the Super Bowl. So it's like he had the hype behind him. But
well, in hindsight.
Yeah, but I mean, like, just even this guy, right? Like, it's like, yeah, fucking freak athlete. He's a linebacker. There's no way he doesn't go first linebacker overall, right?
Right.
But it's like, okay, what is now the quarterback has a different position of just you have
Well,
to
that's where they get with
have
interviews and
game
talking.
sense.
They'll do that through interviews. They'll do
Oh,
that through the
100%.
pro day, like
Asking
you'll
him
find more
random
about
weird
him,
questions.
which that will, if he does well, then that's even crazier. And that's like this it's just going to be, I think the draft just got a lot more interesting, and there's so many quarterback needy teams, and there's so many quarterbacks in this draft.
And I'm with you, Jay. I'm with you. If his like quarterback sense is there, he definitely could go over Bryce Young. Like way more attributes to him, even if his quarterback sense is a little bit less, but can be teachable.
Yeah.
His attributes are what those guys are comfortable with. They're not comfortable with a Bryce Young.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at all weekend, and I'm a GM or I'm whatever, a coach, and I'm looking at, I need a quarterback, he's my guy. He's a big boy. Like, here's the thing, he's a sturdy big boy who can run.
But you're
the
also
ball. He's
falling into the
mobile.
hype.
A little bit, 100%. Because, like, one, if you think about it, offenses nowadays, teams who are successful, they can run with their quarterback. You have to have a mobile quarterback. And then you get a guy who is of that size and that quickness. He is definitely going to play in that part. Can he throw the ball? He can throw the ball. And it's just a unit. Like, to me, I think, like, sometimes you take, like, one of those risks. And for him being the athleticism that he has, that's a pretty decent gamble. Good luck. If not, you can transition to a tight end just like they did Tebow. I'm just kidding.
All right,
And
Justin.
And Logan Thomas.
It's the draft. Richardson somehow did not go in the first round. It's the second round. Cowboys are on the clock. You want them to take him?
No, they won't need him. They don't need him. Like they won't. They won't.
God.
Here's the problem. They won't do it because we have Dak. We just paid Dak.
Oh,
that's
true.
like you're just wasting him.
But how much are they really tied to Dak after this next year?
No, they are still tied to him. Because here's the
okay.
thing you got to know about Cowboy fans. Everybody hates him. Everybody hated Romo until he left, and then once minute Romo left, everybody missed him. They're gonna hate Dak until he leaves, and they're gonna miss him too. Like it's just when you're a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, like being a quarterback of the New York teams, you're gonna get hate all the time.
But there's loyalty under that hate.
Would you want them to draft? Would you want the Lions to draft him with their like second or third round pick?
Second or third round pick. Fuck yeah. I'll take that. Because we got 2 firsts, and if those are going towards defensive needs and maybe this Bijan Robinson kid, see if he's a flash. Then yeah, for sure. I've been saying last week that if Hendon Hooker is around
Oh yeah.
round 3 or 4. Why not take a shot at him too? So I'm okay with that later rounds with those kind of guys. I don't want CJ Stroud, obviously, not that we're gonna get him. I don't want Bryce Young, not that we're gonna get him. I definitely don't want Will Levis, not that we're gonna get him. But those 2 guys, if they're still available after the first round, gladly.
I mean, I know that the Steelers won't take a quarterback in this draft, but if they did take Hendon Hooker late round, I'd be very happy.
They wouldn't do that to Pickett.
They wouldn't. They know they wouldn't because Pickett obviously, and Pickett was just throwing with his boys yesterday. Or today.
From Pittsburgh.
Balls hit the ground.
Nope, they
No.
all got caught.
Don't you know that even if one's about to hit the ground, it just vanishes? It just
vanishes. You didn't know that's how it does it. Yeah, that's what happens with Pickett. But what I'm saying is, I might be with you, Jay. If his football sense there, he might go. I don't know. The hype is just too crazy. Also, it's like
that's all. Sometimes that's all you need.
We also don't know who is who will trade up for that number 1 spot.
That's the crazy
that determines
part.
It.
The draft this year will be insane.
Because what happens to the Bears? They go from 1 to 3. Guessing
with the Colts, yeah, more than likely they would swap that first round and then give other picks and compensation.
And what's nice too is because as a Bears fan, you know that 1 and 2 is gonna be quarterbacks.
It's a
when you're
sloth with no nose.
It looked like you were doing something a little wrong there for a second.
Hey. But as a Bears fan, as a Bears owner, GM, whatever, 1 and 2 is gonna be quarterback. So you're not even worried about your person leaving the board.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like
it only benefits them to trade down,
right? Because you get an extra, maybe 2nd or 3rd round pick off of it, or something.
They're still gonna get Jalen Carter or Will Anderson or whoever else they want.
So many people.
Yeah, they need a lot of people.
What do you think they're gonna go after? Defense, offense?
They'll probably go after defense, and they'll probably go Will Anderson from the number 3 position. I hear Jalen Carter's dropping a lot because of this drama with the racing situation. So I'm assuming Will Anderson for them.
Kind of like Larry Tunsil with his
bomb.
Someone did him dirty.
Yeah, they did. The bomb
I still want to know
gas mask
who did it and why, and because the Texans drafted him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it was the Texans who did that. They killed his stock.
Do Atlanta, do they draft a quarterback this time?
They drafted last year,
right? They drafted Ridley. No,
Riddle.
Rattler.
No,
Riddler.
Riddler.
Desmond Riddler.
Yeah.
When he got hurt,
they drafted the Batman villain.
Yeah. So he just didn't.
Ritter. It's Ritter.
Ritter. Marcus Mariota started.
I know, but they were doing dog shit.
Well, he played lost like a couple games.
I could see Ritter maybe getting the full start, or they get a different veteran in there. But I don't see them drafting again. I'm actually surprised to hear that they're out on the Lamar shit because they were so in on the Deshaun situation that it's like, okay, so if you're willing to give up a bunch of picks and to overpay a guy, why are you choosing to go after the sexual predator and not the actual NFL MVP?
We don't want to get sued like Pat McAfee show, allegedly.
Sorry. Okay, then allegedly. Do you really want me to do this 26 fucking times? Yeah.
Yes.
No. Let's just move on. Hey, actually, that is a perfect way to just end because allegedly we're about to be done.
Allegedly, I think it's my bedtime.
Allegedly,
just kidding. I'm making cookies.
Oh my god, 8:46, your bedtime, dude. You little.
I was joking. I said cookies first, bitch.
Sometimes you aren't joking though. 8:30 we end, and you're like, "Okay, I'm done. Time to go to bed."
And guess what? I do.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for listening to us. Thanks for letting us fill your home with sweet nothings. If you want to follow us, go over on the YouTubes and type in at the 3 of Us podcast, and we'll be there. We will be there on fire. We'll be there with beautiful faces. And so until next time, and until more things happen, have your brackets ready. Peace out, guys.
Can't wait for the
So-
Steelers to trade TJ Watt for Lamar. Bye, guys.
Don't ever say that ever again.
End recording.